Tonight, a striking new measure of President Trump's grip on Republican power. 11 GOP senators and senators-elect, led by Ted Cruz of Texas, say they will object when Congress meets to certify Joe Biden's Electoral College victory in a traditional Capitol Hill ceremony this Wednesday. And the Republican senators are making a new demand that Congress appoint an electoral commission to conduct an emergency 10-day audit of the election returns in what they refer to as the disputed states, but did not name them. The move channels President Trump's unproven allegations.
We cannot allow a completely fraudulent election to stand.
But the courts already rejected numerous claims, and all states certified their own results.
The integrity of our elections remains intact.
Today's new act of Trump loyalty follows Missouri Senator Josh Hawley, who also announced his own plan to object to the certification in order to trigger congressional debate and a series of separate votes. Democrats call these plans outrageous and doomed to fail.
Everyone should understand they will not be successful at overturning the results of the election. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will be sworn in on January 20th.
The Cruz Group acknowledged the risks, writing, "We are not naive," while claiming this defense of their motives. "We are acting not to thwart the democratic process, but rather to protect it." Tonight, the Biden transition responded. These baseless claims have already been examined and dismissed by Trump's own attorney general, dozens of courts, and election officials from both parties.
Kelly, is this latest attempt likely to achieve anything?
Well, Jose, I've just heard from the vice president's office, and they say Mike Pence, who will preside over the electoral count tally, he welcomes this use of the laws to object to the results here among Republicans. But other Republicans are coming forward to say this is wrong, including Senators Toomey of Pennsylvania, Murkowski of Alaska. And so far, there is not enough of a sizable protest to overturn the results. Jose?
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.